Thomas and Tail Lamps. Percy sat pouting on a siding. His driver was removing the fat controller's trousers from his funnel and grimacing at the sticky jam staining his jacket. "Never mind you, it's my clothes that'll need a good wash down. It'll take days to get this out," he grunted. Percy blushed and looked at his buffers. Just then along came Thomas. He couldn't help but chuckle. "What a lovely scarf you've got!" "It's not lovely," retorted Percy. "It's horrid and I don't want it." "Silly Percy. You're an engine, not a person like driver or fireman. Cold and water beats scarves and sticky jam any day. Perhaps you should stick with what you know." Thomas puffed off, chortling at his own wit. When Thomas comes down his branch line, he pulls his train. As he leaves the big station, he pushes, and his driver controls him from Clarabelle's cab. Red tail lamps are placed on his running board to let signalers know Thomas is considered the end of the train. The next day, the weather was colder, and fog hung in the air. The gloom did nothing to dampen Thomas's spirits. He was still chuckling as he backed his train to the top station. Silly Percy, he guffawed. Thomas laughed so much that he let off a great whoosh of steam. A man on the platform jumped in fright, dropping his briefcase. Papers flew everywhere. "You bothersome engine," he huffed, shaking a fist. "Look what you've done!" Thomas blushed and silently composed himself. Driver, fireman, guard, and station master scurried and scrambled to catch the papers, which seemed more interested in floating on the breeze. After a great deal of chasing, they were all securely in the passenger's briefcase. "Good glory!" exclaimed the guard, checking his watch. "It's nearly time to leave!" He blew his whistle and waved his flag. Thomas started back down the branch line. At the big station, the signaler was having a horrible time seeing out of the box. Thankfully, there hadn't been any mishaps, but that was about to change. "What on earth is that?" they thought, squinting out the window. It was only Thomas, hurrying towards the station, but all the signaler could see was a fast-approaching red tail lamp. "Great heavens!" they cried. "It's a runway!" Frantically, they jerked the lever and set the points for the siding. Thomas, unaware, felt pleased with himself. "Right on time, right on, woo!" he cried as he suddenly swerved. "What's happening?" he shouted. When he regained his nerve, Thomas found himself derailed. A pair of buffers sat in a sorry state in front of him. The signaler ran down from the box, but stopped short when they caught a glimpse of the scene. "Hold on! You're not a runaway!" "No! I'm Thomas!" he groaned. No one had been hurt, but the passengers were furious at the sudden shakedown. The fat controller came to quell their fury, then turned his attention to Thomas. "My fault, sir," sighed the signaler. "I only saw the tail lamp through the fog and thought—" "An understandable mistake," interrupted the fat controller. "As for you, Thomas, I hope this will teach you the importance of proper tail lamp placement and taking care in fog." "Yes, sir," sighed Thomas. Percy arrived at the cranes to put Thomas back on the rails. "Dearie me," he smirked. "Thought you tried masquerading as a brake van, did you? Silly Thomas, you really ought to stick with what you know." What Thomas did know was that he'd never mention scarves or sticky jam round Percy again.